Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so we got a few things to talk about. I'm pretty sure I've already mentioned this, but Trevor Ariza is going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks with a ankle injury that's going to require surgery. I think the surgery's already been done, so now we're just going to wait for the next news in regards to his recovery. 6 to 8. That's old news. I think most of Laker Nation already knows that. All right, this is something that just came out though. This is some new news for us. It's not good either. THT, that thumb injury, it's going to require surgery as well. It's a torn ligament in his shooting hand, and it's going to keep him down. Now, they didn't give us a date on that, how long this is going to be. But once you go under the knife, we're not talking about, games. We're talking about weeks. So take that for what it is. We're going to be without THT to start the season, for the rest of the preseason, etc. That's devastating because we already have issues turning the ball over. He had some to do with those issues, and we want to get him acclimated into what it is that we do for this season, what his role is going to be. Obviously, it's a bigger role than he's had in the past, and he's somebody who provides a great deal of youth for us, a great deal of athleticism and talent in the youth, and a lot of upside in regards to our youth, and we need what he brings to the table quite a bit. So for him to go down is pretty bad for us. I'm not going to even pretend like it's not bad. It's bad because we are, like I said, we are already seeing in the preseason that the process of putting this thing together is not going to be seamless. It's not going to be easy. Some of the things that we think should be able to come together, it's going to now take a little longer because of these injuries. So this is bad. This is just no way around it. It's bad. All right, moving on from the Lakers. So, rumor has it that Philadelphia 76ers, it's been reported that the Philadelphia 76ers and Ben Simmons, how do you word this? I guess the rumor is Ben Simmons is now opening his mind to the possibility of returning. Cap. Lies. I'm not buying it. Bullcrap. Lies. It's hogwash. This is why I believe it's hogwash, and I'm not an insider. It could very well be true, but I'm telling you I'm not buying it. And this is why. Because I understand that the media is often used by various conflicting sides that are between one another for reasons of pushing certain things in a certain direction. Right? We've seen it before. We've heard of it several times in the past. This is what I think is happening here. Obviously, Philly wants something to happen. They want him to come back. They don't want to have to trade him, certainly because, not only because they think they're a better team with him, but because they don't feel they can get a good return for him, which I think is accurate. So they want him to return, and on top of that, I mean, just natural human emotion or whatever. They want to win the battle. They want that kid to tuck his tail between his legs, say he's sorry, come back in there, put on that uniform, and be a good boy. Because that's a victory for their side. So I'm not saying that this is definitely happening, but what I'm saying is it stands to reason that something like this would happen, to where they would go to the media on some random day to start the week of, what is this, week 2 of the preseason. They want him back. So they're going to put that message out, in my theory, put that message out to the media, to Woj, say that Ben's ready to come back, to put pressure on Ben's side. Now that message is out there, now he's going to be having to answer questions, or now he's going to have his side affected by that news, and they're going to have to come out and either say it's true or not true, or react to it one way or another. It puts them on their heels. That's what it does. Now, it's not. All Ben has to do is nothing. Honestly, if this is what I'm describing, all he has to do is nothing. Because at the end of the day, my trade request stands. My demands are as is. My stipulations are that you do not have any rights to me anymore. Contract be damned. I'm not playing for you. I won't play for someone else. Anyone else in the NBA outside of you guys. That's been his stance. That's what it is. Now, can the money affect his mentality as it pertains to them? Yes. Now it's been reported that they're fining him a great deal more than he was anticipating being fined for each game he misses. They can do that. But Ben's represented by Clutch. Clutch knows that. They know those things. So, in my mind, even if he was caught off guard personally, his representatives were not. They knew this was coming. So, I would think that they would have prepped him for all of the different scenarios that could possibly come down from this that they're aware of. This was probably one of them. Philadelphia was going to vine you more. They were going to try to do everything they can. They were going to use the media, as I'm describing here, to try to force your hand. It's just strategy. And what it really comes down to is a desperate Philadelphia organization trying their best to win the battle that they're in, that they're ultimately not going to win. Why are they not going to win? Because the player itself, Ben Simmons, is not going to increase in value the longer this drags out. If you don't see him on the floor, the notion is that he's not getting in better shape, but worse shape. The notion is that he's not getting better at his game, but worse, because he's not out there working on the things that he's ultimately very deficient at, which is ultimately the problem. So the longer he waits this out, the longer they wait this out to trade him for whatever it is they can get back for him, the value of that goes south. What they're hoping for is that the landscape of the NBA, and this has already been mentioned by other people, that the landscape of the NBA, somebody somewhere will get unhappy with their circumstances to start the season and will look at Ben Simmons and say, he's my solution. And what I say to that is, I don't see it coming. That's not something I see coming. Why? Because Ben Simmons is not the player that you can plug in and say, he's my solution. He's the player that you bring in when you scrap everything else and start with him. That's the only way to build around him. That's why Philly hasn't been able to build around him effectively, because that's the way you have to do it, and they didn't. He's looking for that. That's why he doesn't mind going to Sacramento. That's why he doesn't mind going to some of these other places, because he knows that wherever he goes, it would probably be best that they don't really have a whole lot in place. If I'm Ben Simmons, Sacramento, Thunder, Orlando, those are the places I want to go. Why? Because they got to build around me. That's what should be there. I'm the best player there. Bring me my shooters, bring me my athletic long wings, bring me my center, and let me lead them by orchestrating the basketball as I do and orchestrating the defense as I do. That's Ben Simmons. That's what he does. When you let him do that, for which you've never seen because the Phillies never done it, he can be one of the best facilitators in basketball, one of the best defenders in basketball, and ultimately a A1 player in basketball. You just have to build the team around him. He's an unorthodox pantheon great. Unorthodox pantheon great. And when you're that great, your weaknesses, if your confidence is up, because his confidence was down and he didn't shoot the ball well, he did a lot of things, but your weaknesses are you're gonna find ways of bleeding through those weaknesses and still being effective. He just needs his confidence and he needs his pieces. That's it. Get that man his pieces. His confidence will come with that when he gets the hell out of this toxic situation he perceives as toxic. And I promise you, you'll get better Ben Simmons than you've seen before. You know he plays better without Joel Embiid. We've seen it. His best games are played when he's not down there with a slower, bigger star who's going to take possessions away from him, orchestrating for others. That is what he is. And I want to drive home the point that we've never seen him in those circumstances. We've never seen him in a situation that's beneficial for him. We've always seen him working around Joel, around the roster, around the process, around. He's always had to find his way. Doesn't work. Has not worked. He knows that. Real basketball minds know that. I think Daryl Morey knows that deep down. I think Doc Rivers knows that deep down. I just think they don't have the power because it's ownership. Ownership has the money and they're controlling everything. And apparently they want to engage in this back and forth. They try to win a battle. That's what I'm gathering from this Sixers organization. These people, it's one of those situations where it's like, nah, you ain't about to do it to me. I got too much pride wrapped up in my business and the things that I've done in this life, accumulating my billions, to let you do this to me. Especially when I know it's your bad play that ultimately landed you in this situation. I get that mentality. I've always understood why Philly's upset. I just want them to be be the adult in the room. That's all I'm saying. Because if somebody's going through a mental breakdown, or if they're going through something that's dire in their head, and you sitting back punching them like they're a sound individual, you look crazy, not them. They're losing their situation. They're losing their mind right now. And you're sitting up here trying to have a rational conversation. This reminds me of something. I'm kind of getting off topic, but like when I worked at Santa Monica Place as a security guard, we had a lot of transient people. People were not of sound mind. And I always say the protocol for security guards and dealing with mental ill people in these situations that I worked in, it's kind of like they want us to approach these people as if they're sane. They want us to call out demands and requests, and we're supposed to get full compliance, when a lot of the times their minds are not even in the world we're in. The way I was able to interact with these people was not more so with words, but with vibes, with body language, tone. You gotta play chess in regards to dealing with people who are dealing with certain types of stress and mental challenges. You can't go back and forth with them like you're talking to a person that's stable and sound and doing well and has their ducks in a row and all that. They don't have their ducks in a row. They need special things in order for them to be able to embrace what's going on. I view Ben Simmons that way. I do. Because of the irrational behavior that he's engaged in this situation, and the fact that he's one of the pantheon great basketball players of this generation who literally is afraid to shoot the basketball. That phobia speaks to other aspects of his mental space. It just does. And anybody that refuses to see that is ignoring something very, very important about this entire situation. You're dealing with somebody who has irrational concerns. Irrational. Shooting the ball is not going to kill him. Bringing his shooting percentage down to 29%, shooting the three, it's not going to make him any less of a Hall of Famer. In fact, I would argue that him not shooting the ball is worse for him. And because I know he understands the game, I know he understands that. The question is, can he control himself to make the right decisions? No. In this case, he's more so focused on who's not allowing him to be in the comforting space that he wants to be in, rather than holding himself accountable to be better within that space. Why? Because the space itself has been toxic for 7 years. Kind of hard to grow into your best self, find confidence when your mind is frustrated and you're sitting in the same place that you've been in that's been bringing you down, so to speak, even if it's not necessarily the case as you perceive it, bringing you down for the last 7 years. See, the media doesn't necessarily talk about this. It doesn't benefit them to talk about this. But I'm telling you, as somebody who has mental health issues, as somebody who's been in situations where I needed to get out irrationally and dealt with the consequences of that. And it's been years. You know, I've grown up. I've seen how I would have loved to do things differently in the past. Right? But hindsight's 2020. I didn't have that then. Ben Simmons doesn't have that now. All he sees is he needs to get out. Whatever that's going to cost him, he's already lost in his mind. That's why I don't believe this rumor. That's why I don't believe the rumor that he's ultimately willing to come back because the money's online. If the money was a problem, he would have never found himself in this space. He would have never said, I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to allow it to cost me some money. If it were about the money, it's already irrational money. Anytime someone starts talking about $300,000 being docked out of your pay, it's already irrational. This man's talking about giving away hundreds of times that. It's a mental health situation. Philadelphia 76ers are standing there like they're talking to somebody who's level-headed like them. And I'm telling you, you're arguing with somebody who's not doing well right now. That's it. That's it. And I know you would say, I don't have no right to speak on his mental space. I do not. I do not. But I can speak on mine. And I've seen this before. I've seen this. I know what I'm looking at. I've been there to a different degree. Very different degree. And I'm telling you, you're not going to convince him to come back by using the media to push out your agenda about him coming back or saying we're going to up the money. None of that matters. He's not. No. He will escape this situation. You understand what I'm saying to you? He will escape this situation. So, now that that point has been driven home, now that I've said that, Ben Simmons, in my opinion, he should start preparing to play basketball. Now, all that being said, Ben Simmons should start making sure his body's in preparation to play basketball. Do not pull a James Harden and get fat. Do not do what it is that I said that you may be willing to do to get out of the situation. I think you should do everything you can to control yourself in that way. Don't do that. Because once you start getting out of shape, what ends up happening is injuries start kicking in. Then you start having situations where you have unhealthy weight on you, fat starts to build. It's bad on the knees, bad on the joints. Don't do it. Stay lean, stay in shape. I don't care how long this takes. Because what you don't want to have happen is you come back, you've gone through this process, then you get injured. And see, once you get injured, after this, your value plummets to the ground. They're going to try to kick you out the league. That's how that goes. don't let you go down with a knee injury that they would otherwise bring somebody else back from. They ain't gonna bring you back. They're gonna make it so damn hard. They're gonna Iverson you. They're gonna do everything. They're gonna mellow you, and you don't have the skill set that allows you to come back from that. I'm just being real with Ben Simmons. You have to understand that in that same breath of saying you need to bring players to you so that they can fit with you, that same thing snatches your leverage in regards to you having any wiggle room not being healthy going forward. You have none. They're going to try to kick Ben Simmons out of in the NBA as soon as his physical leverage leaves him. He's out. And see, that's the thing. I think Dwight Howard had that same thing going on. He was able to overcome it and gain back the love and appreciation of the people who said, we done with it. But he had to go through a lot. He had to go to damn near every team in the Bible Belt before he was able to find himself back on the Lakers, play for a championship. They wanted him to drag his knees in glass before coming back to a winning situation. Look at Melo, same thing. We see Melo. Melo hit 5 threes yesterday. 2 years ago, they said that he wasn't good enough to even be on a basketball floor. And it wasn't because his skills had diminished, it was because they didn't vibe with him when he had a lot of power. And when the power disappeared, when his game started to dwindle to a degree, they could exaggerate that through the media, plummet his value, and blackball his butt. They're going to do the same thing to Ben Simmons. And it's going to be much easier. So that's important. Stay ready to play ball, man. Stay ready. Keep telling people that you want to play for SAC. Keep telling people that you want to go to Minnesota. These are good things. Because you don't have a whole lot of friends in the media. You don't have any friends in Philadelphia. But where you're going, you're going to have a lot of friends. Especially if they're a bad organization and you help them win. So that's the right move. I think he should continue to sing the praises of the rest of the league and how he's willing to play for them. That's his move. All right. So that's what I got, man. I don't think this is going to end anytime soon. I don't. Get well, THT. Trevor Ariza. I haven't forgotten about that aspect of the video. It's very important. And that's what I got, man. I'm going to take my time, with the Rockets video as I have been doing. I'm going to take like 2 players at a time, break that down. I know the Rockets play the Raptors tonight. Very excited about Scotty Barnes versus Jalen Green. That's going to be a nice preseason matchup in my mind. So, yeah, I'll be talking about that, I'm sure. And I thank you guys for watching me once again. Have a great season, everybody. God bless y'all. Peace.